And we are still alive, everyone. I'm Jason, your host of Awake Souls, and I'm joined by the limitless one, Ronnie Harris. How are you doing, brother?
I am great. I'm looking forward to tonight, man.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So it's gonna be a video or a hangout that people have been asking for lately, and that is since we went on the Baby Truther show, we've picked up about 200 new subs since that time period, where there are a group of people waking up to the fact that not only is Earth flat, but we know that it's not a circle either. And so we've been sharing that fact for about 5 years now, and there is a map and model. So once we realized that the AE map and model was impossible, we set out looking for what works, and we've had this for at least 4 years now. But because it's across so many different hangouts and so many different hours of coverage where we've looked at it from just so many different angles, it's hard now for people to go back, especially since a lot of the content that I have is still on private because of the strikes that I've received. That here, what we want to do is we want to put it all together in one package. So when somebody says, "What is your map and model?" Here you go, right?
And so, the things that I want to start off with tonight, excuse me, is letting everyone know Jason and I have been doing this, the same map and model, for basically 4 years. Okay. We don't expect everyone to be anywhere near us. We're light years ahead. Unfortunately, we've done the barometer test with the public. Nobody has a clue what we're talking about. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. We can continue to make it as basic as possible. We're going to show you tonight the outline instructions that correspond with the scriptures, right? The book of Enoch, the map. The map that we're going to be showing is just a construct. It's a thought, okay? We can't get high enough. If we could get higher, we could take a snapshot of the whole map. It's impossible. No one's ever done it. Not only that, no one's ever taken a compass and a camera and driven around the North Pole. This is 2022. No one's ever done it. No one's ever proven or documented a circumnavigation of the Earth north to south. It's never been done, right? So there's going to be oddities and things that people don't understand, like the way that the boundaries have been set in 24 different time zones, 15 degrees apart, the way the sun travels. These are the basics of what we're trying to explain to people. I'm going to try to do this as simple as possible, but I'm beyond really worrying that the people don't get it, because it's now to the point where the people that do get it just want to simply deny it because they don't like the way that Jason and I explain it, or they don't like that we're Christians, that we believe that the Christ was born into this creation, died for our sins, and was risen back to life in a millennial body, a body that didn't feel pain. He could walk through walls. So they don't like us. They don't like our story. They don't like our truths, but we don't care. We're going to lay it out tonight. We're going to show you guys everything, what you can observe, what you can test, things that you can just stand upon as pure foundation. Some might call me dogmatic. Some people might say, "Oh, you need to be humble." No, what you on the other side of the screen need to do is do the research, right? Come to stand with us in the truth. We don't do this because we're getting paid. Jason and I don't make any money. Never. We don't ask for donations. We don't want anything. We did this for the truth. When I met Jason, we both had a passion for trying to find what the true map of this reality would be. And it was less than 6 months and we had it figured out. Now, have we fine-tuned it? Yes. And we're going to bring this information to you tonight. We're going to show you how it works in a modeling program. We're going to show you how to go outside and verify these things for yourself. What we're not going to do anymore is placate to people that are playing dumb. Okay. This is 2022. We're going to show you the map, the truth, the stuff that we can actually verify too. We're going to delineate the things that we're saying, like the map. It's just a construct. Listen, you don't live in a physical, materialistic realm, right? This is a virtual realm. And it's supernatural. And if you want to deny that, fine. Go off into that camp over there, because Jason and I, we just going to go light speed. We're not slowing down. We're not backing down. We're going to continue to put this information out. And we don't care if nobody watches it. We don't care if nobody gets it. The truth does not need anyone. Jason, I'm going to throw it back to you.
No, it doesn't care what you think of it either. It just is. It just is. So, like Ronnie was saying, the map is not the important part of the entire thing. The model. The model means everything because you can tweak the map this way, that way, whatever you want. The model means everything. And so, one of the things that we've run into with the fake flat earthers, the ones that promote the Freemasonic New World Order, United Nations flag, AE map model, the flying pizza in space. They say, oh no, we don't say it's a flying pizza in space. If you believe in the circle Earth, you're stuck to a physical representation of our reality that doesn't work. And we're going to go through that tonight. And so tonight is not going to be so much about debunking the AE map model as it is showing what does work. Now, I find it frustrating that when we point this out to other supposed truthers, right, people that know the Earth is flat, that it's not a spinning ball flying through space, the models are built already, everyone. You're never going to come up with a better model than the ones that we're going to be sharing with you tonight. These were all built already. They're all built on a flat plane. So as soon as you look at it in context, we have the most incredible of details where we know down to fractions of a second what angle we can measure the sun being at in the sky. Right? We know the time that it's going to come up. We know the angle that it's going to come up. We know how fast it's going to rotate around an observer. We know how many minutes it's going to be up during the day. We can position the exact location of the sun on any location, anywhere on Earth, any day of the year, any time of the day. We can use these exact same models to predict things like eclipses. Right? So we have literally the most accurate models that you can go out and test yourself, and we're going to show you how to do that tonight, and we'll put it all in context, and we're going to show you that this doesn't work on a ball, this doesn't work on a circular AE map model, and it only works with the model that we are showing. That is the only one that it works with. So we'll be going into those details tonight, and hopefully the people that care will put in the time and effort. I understand that there's a lot of people out there that say they can't visualize things three-dimensionally. Now, I'm not one of those people. By the time I was 10 years old, I could read a set of blueprints, and I could visualize from just flat side elevations, top-down floor plans, stuff like that. I could visualize three-dimensionally every aspect of a building. Now, not everybody has that ability, but people that want to be able to operate with a good understanding of 3D modeling, you can actually teach yourselves these days. There are super easy programs like SketchUp. You can use tools like this for free, where all you have to do is just start by making a square, a rectangle, pulling it up. Now all of a sudden you have a three-dimensional space. Now you can move it around in 3D space, and you can start visualizing it from all sides. So you can actually train yourself. If it's not natural to you, you can still train yourself to see things three-dimensionally. And I can't tell you how important that ability is, especially considering the nature of our reality. So being able to see all that in 3 dimensions is super important.
So for me, it's interesting. Just want to actually give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Battery, new guy asking Recev. I don't even know if I'm reading that right. YD, the moderator, always a huge shout out to you. Joseph Bender, Mimi, the North Elect. We got Battery 79, Bronick. Thank you guys all for being here. For me, I went to Joiners and Carpenter School, right? And not only that, I went and took a night school course to learn how to read blueprints, right? That's what I did. And I wrote my license and got my license, a journeyman's ticket, so that I could build things. And one of my favorite parts of the courses was the 3-dimensional blueprint part, right? Where we actually had to learn how to do it all. And I suggest that, and I'm not going to say that there was a divide, because there was a girl in my beginner's course, the first year I went, she just kicked everyone's ass in a bunch of the computer modeling, right? So women can do it, but generally men are better at seeing three-dimensionally spatially, and women are more intuitive in things like protection and ways for the family to be ahead mentally. Women are very acute in these types of areas, but men are usually the builders. So there are things that you can do online. You could get into a program like Blender, right, and do a video on YouTube on how to build something in Blender and start to learn about the three-dimensional space. Because if you don't understand how like you could make a map and a realm inside in Blender, then what we're saying to you might actually be difficult for you to understand, when really it's the basic level. We're talking about the floor of our realm, right? You can only measure up, down, left, and right. That's it. That's the only thing that you can measure. There's not more complications that needed to be added to this, right? So get yourself aware in how modeling programs work. Then you'll start to understand the reasons why Jason and I say the things that we say is because we can see it from a program standpoint, where the creator literally has a mouse and he went and a trackpad and click, and he put the little luminary there, click, you put a path above, click, drag another click, and then you have the arc and the radius, and you have everything that you need right there. These are the types of things that we want other people to get into themselves, right? So you can understand your realm, your reality around you. Now, after the tribulation's over, we're going to have a new map, right? So to get fixated on the continents and everything like that, go ahead. That's great. We did. It's all going to get burned and destroyed. Right. Then we're going to get new land and new continents and a new garden to tend and till. And all the righteous people are going to be left here to take care of that. But so I'm going to keep the glasses on, because I find if I take the glasses off, I get a little bit too aggressive. I want to pull it back tonight. I want to show you guys. I'll be doing a little bit of modeling, but not much. Jason's going to be basically running most of the most important parts of our discussion tonight. The map and model of reality that we're presenting is what you can actually go outside and see. We're not going to be telling you that there's anything outside of that. We don't believe in going into outer space and other realms that you can go to. All we can prove and testify to and verify and witness to is what happens in our circle of sight. And we go outside and we can see the way the stars move. We can see the angle of the sun and the moon. And through that, we can map reality. That's basically what we're going to be doing tonight. And we teach it from a virtual realm standpoint, not of materialistic, atomistic, Big Bang cosmology, Kabbalistic, heliocentric realm. That's all garbage. Just wipe it out of your mind. It's all nonsense. We're going to be showing you what you can actually test. And I'm thankful to be here tonight. I'm glad I'm feeling much better. I know Jason's feeling much better. And it was a nice break. I did want to do a year in review for the music. I still might actually do that, because Viljar, a friend of ours in Estonia, a DJ, puts a lot of time and effort into fighting we'll call it the new flu order. The new flu order. We don't just fight them here on YouTube. We fight them on music. We fight them on Facebook. We fight anywhere that there's a level of truth, especially music. We want to be in there. We want to support people that aren't new flu world orders. We want the good people. So maybe we'll get into a stream like that into the future, just to go back in 2021, listen to what the best music was. But again, let's just enjoy tonight. If you guys can't understand it, if you have any problems with any of the topics tonight, leave a comment below. Tell us, ask us the questions. Jason is an absolute master in the comment sections. That is his spot. He loves to get down in there and communicate with people. That's what we're here for. We do this for free for you guys on the other side of the screen. We've already figured this stuff out. We don't need to be here. We choose to be here because it's why we were born. This is it. We're not here to make big mansions, right, Jay? We're here to share truth. That's what the most important thing is. Sunday, we'll probably do some scriptural stuff, but tonight, I'm really looking forward to getting into the model of reality.
Absolutely. So, language-wise, semantics-wise, we've danced around with what we call this world, right? We say we're a simulation reality, guys, but really, from now on, I think I'm just going to use either virtual reality or virtual realm. And we've got enough headway in this world with metaverse and stuff like that. The people are starting to comprehend what a virtual reality world would be like. Like, you would have these avatar-like bodies in this virtual world. Now, as technology would progress, you would eventually get to the point where you could have the 5 senses associated with the avatar body, and that all the physics in the world would be as the physics that we witness, as far as when you hit something, when you prick yourself, like all these things that we feel, right? To have all those sensory points, but in a virtual reality world. And so this isn't a theory that we're in some sort of simulation. We're actually showing people the facts, the ways that you can prove that we are in a virtual world. And tonight's really going to break through a whole bunch of those walls for people that pay attention and actually test these things out. So we're going to be talking about virtual realities going forward. We've got some videos. Unreal Engine is getting to a pretty incredible point with their graphics right now and their physics engines. We've got something to show from Unreal Engine. This is from a couple years ago, though. And then we also have the way that we can actually test things in the world. But let's go ahead and get into it, brother. Should we get the screen share going? And
yeah, let's do that. You should get your end fired up, get your real engine fired up. The part that Jason was talking about was basically, one second. So the Unreal Engine is the Epic game designers software. So it's like Blender. It's a 3D space where you create, right? And basically, we're going to be showing a clip from that, just how you can actually 3-dimensionally create a scene with sky and sun and all different types of light scattering and things like this, ray tracing. And again, everybody, this stuff is not complicated, okay? You're in a 3-dimensional place, right? There's left, right, up, and down, right? And it's a rectangle, and the boundaries are water, right? The scriptures say, then Yahawah said, let there be waters under the heavens, and gathered them together into one place. And then let the dry land appear, and it was so. And Yahawah called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the water he then called seas. And Yahawah saw that it was good. Then he brought forth the grass and the herbs and the seed and the fruit and all of the other things according to their kind. And then the earth brought it all forth and did exactly as he spoke into existence. It's a voice-activated place for Yahawah, right? And then he put the lights, and then let there be lights in the sky of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let that be for signs and seasons. Those are the 12 zodiacs, the 12 animals, the 12 months of the year, right? It was all created. And let there be 2 great lights, and the greater one to rule the day, which is the sun, likened unto Adam, and the lesser light that's dimmer, because it was Eve that fell first. She's represented as the moon, right? And he put them into the sky of the heavens to give light upon the earth and to rule over the day and the night. And he saw that it was good. And that wasn't done on the first day, ladies and gentlemen. Right? What I just talked about, the sun and the moon were made after the grass, after the waters and the dry land had appeared, right? Just so people understand, right?
So that is one of the things that it may seem hard to believe for a person at first, but the only biblical model of Earth is the one that we're talking about, this virtual reality realm, because in heliocentrism, everything came from nothing. Everything came from nothing in a big bang, and there is no creator. All right, so heliocentrism was created in order to support atheism. Mm-hmm. Now, the people that support the Freemason New World Order AE map and model, those people, that's not biblical, because there's not 4 corners. One of the things that the scriptures say is that there are 4 corners. Mm-hmm. And then as far as creation's concerned, if you have Earth being a Truman Show dome, right, then if the sun, moon, and stars were not created at first, there was no light. So day and night could not have been created before the sun, moon, and stars, since they are the luminaries. If they're supposed to be, I don't know, what did they say they are? Floating balls of gas circling 3,000 miles up?
Yeah, some of them are rocks too, right? So you have both gaseous giants and supposed planets. That's what they tell us the luminaries are. And again, just to add on to you what you were saying, brother, you're not screen sharing, by the way. We've got Isaiah 11:12, and gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth, right? So if people, and that's just one scripture I'm giving you guys for the four corners, right? Also, I just explained to you guys that the land and the waters, everything was created before the sun and the moon. The light and the darkness was created before the sun and the moon, right? These are all virtual realm type things that are, it demands it, right?
Yeah. So what I have up on screen right here was the first stereographic map of Earth that we found that we understood could work. All right. So what had happened is we found out that Earth has two poles, right? There's a North Pole rotation where you look at the North Pole and the stars rotate around it counterclockwise. And then there's a South Pole rotation where you look from south of the equator, you see a spot in the sky where everything's rotating clockwise around that spot. So Earth having two poles, you automatically know that any map or model that only has one pole is impossible. Absolutely impossible. So we were looking for a map that would have two poles. And just after meditating and praying for wisdom, the word stereographic came to me. And I looked up stereographic and found out that stereographic maps will have two poles, right? So I just want to explain that to people because some people think that they see three poles. So I'll show it to you on this one, then we'll show it to you on the more current map that we're using. But just pay attention here. This oblique Mercator projection, cylindrical conformal C.S. Pierce, 1894. So in 1894, they were already drawing maps like this. Now, if you did live on a globe, it would be stupid to use any type of map other than a stereographic map. It'd be dumb because we've seen all the flaws with the rest of the maps. It ends up being distorted incredibly. So with the AE map and model, the North Pole point is shrunk absolutely to nothing. And then the South Pole, there really is none. It's just the outside edge of the map. There's no place for a second rotation. Now what this has is these are lines of latitude and longitude. Each one of these are 15 degrees. That's the way they break Earth up because the sun rotates 15 degrees per hour. All right, 15 degrees represents an hour here, and that makes up 24 hours of the day.
That's right. There's 24 lines.
24 lines. So at the north point right here, you have all 24 lines coming into the north point. All 24 come in here, but then you'll notice that the south point is split in half. And you have 12 of the lines of longitude coming in on one side, and you have the other 12 coming in on the other side. All right, so this gives you the two poles necessary. From any point on this map, you can either look to the north celestial point, or you can look to the south celestial point. So your lines of longitude are the ones that delineate time throughout the day. This is going to tell you when the sun is rising and when the sun's setting based on your latitude. Now your latitude, everything is zeroed out at the equator. Twice a year on the equinox, you're going to have the sun directly overhead, 90 degrees completely straight over your head in all directions. So it rose east, it's set west. That's a straight line. All right, it's not a curving line, it's a straight line. And it goes directly over any person's head that is on. Where did my cursor go?
So I do have something to screen share before we get too far past this point.
Okay.
I know you'll have to do a little bit of sizing
Yeah.
when we go to do that, but there is something I'd like to interject here because you have the original map up. I'd just like to explain a few things when I can have a chance.
Sure.
So just what Jason was also explaining while he gets that prepared, or did you want to keep going?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay, as soon as you're done screen sharing, I'll present. This is just to kick it off. This is something we need to show everybody again. I want to be super, super clear. Okay. So it's just basically this side, Jason. You see this? This side?
Yeah, it's showing
just
up pretty good.
Tell me when I'm ready.
Yeah, you should be good.
Okay, so I found the map that Jason was just showing, right? And then we had a guy named Clifford Cox. We gave him a hard time. He was a Christian. His name had the CC in it. And we were like, oh, we don't know about you. But he gave us a projection that was like this one. And then I cross-referenced maps with that one. And we found this one here. It's called the World Physical Satellite Image Map. Okay. It's been orientated in a messed up way, right? Because that's everything the new flu order does. They do everything messed up. I can't highlight over it right now because it moves it around. As you can see, they have the Antarctic continent shown in one here. You see it at the bottom left there. I'm sure everybody can see this. Down here, right? They put it all in one. Jason sliced it and aligned the prime meridian so that we can show you the map, in a completely symmetrical way. What this goes on to say is the stunningly detailed. We know that they don't have satellites. They might have, devices up there on balloons flying around. They said they stitched together this map off of those paths. The same thing that the sphere earthers say. The NASA guy who came out and said, yeah, we have to stitch it together. Every globe earth is a representation. This is an oblique Mercator projection because no one can get high enough. So it's oblique, right? It's fatter. It's fatter in the south. That's why we have a larger analemma in the south. Now it says the parameters of this map projection have been carefully chosen so that the inevitable distortions that occur are regulated to the oceans because it's all surrounded by water and the least populated and least recognized land masses, right? We get the objections that Russia, Eastern Russia, and Alaska are too big. That's what the regular skeptic says. And we're telling you, no, actually, those are the land masses that the flat earthers don't know about. They're the hidden land. That's where all the diamonds and oil and everything, albeit it's not easy to get out of the ground because this is like past the 60th degree. It's super far north. Nobody goes there. But I'll go continue on here. It says, the result of this visually interesting flat map of the world exhibits nearly no distortions in the most familiar areas, even at the poles. So what they're explaining is this map has two poles. Right now, you can see one down here. This is one pole right here, which we split in half because there is an Eastern Antarctica and a Western Antarctica when we talk about traversing this place. Up here is the other pole. One has Polaris above it, 180 degrees north and 180 degrees south, has sigma octans. All the stars here go east to west. They travel clockwise down here, and they travel counterclockwise up here. So
actually 90 degrees north.
90 degrees overhead. Yeah. Sorry. We didn't invent this map or this model. We're telling you that this is what 2022's greatest human achievements in mapping and projection making. This one here is the best one. They literally say it, the people that created it here, right? You have different projections down here on the bottom of the screen. Here, this one's we actually blended this one with this one. Jason blended them together in Photoshop. He didn't do a perfect job. It doesn't come out perfectly when I bring up the modeling program. When I bring it up here to show people, you want to live on a sphere, this is what it would look like. Here's Antarctica in a single location. It's not perfect because, again, Jason didn't do this perfectly. We were just showing people the representation of what it would be. Now, these edges here wrap, right? When you travel to this side of the map, you come over on this side of the map. When you go around down here, you come off down here, you come over here, you come back up. Everyone knows that. People have sailed around. They've sailed around Antarctica. It's not an ice ring around the Earth. The Earth is surrounded by waters exactly the way the scripture states. So what I'm just trying to bang home is we didn't invent this map. We just brought it to you because it's the best, most accurate map ever created. They literally tell you in the website that we got it from. So, Jason, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Let me know. You can take the screen share if you feel. I just wanted to make sure I bang these points home. I'm going to continue to say them over and over again. And if you guys on the other side of the screen are skeptics, if you guys don't want to get it, I don't care anymore. If you're not smart enough, if you can't do the back check, if you can't do the research, it's on you. It's not on me. I did my job. I followed what the creator told me to do. And I'm holding fast to what is good. And if it's wrong, he can then come down from the sky and tell me I'm wrong. Until then, you are not going to get me to budge one bit from where I stand. Because if you want to argue you live on a sphere, which you have zero evidence of curvature, and the fact that the Earth is 72% covered in water, and water always levels out, that's how we build level things. We use water. When the laser level goes off, we use a water level to calibrate it. So if you want to live on a sphere, fine. It's still the same map. You want to live on a flat Earth with a rectangle, the map Jason has on the screen, you can divide it into 4 quarters, 4 sections. You have the northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. There are your 4 corners of the Earth. They all align. The lines that we have here, if you draw a straight path anywhere on this map, you will dead reckon. You cannot do that with a sphere, and you cannot do that with an AE map. We're going to continue to show this over and over and over again so that people understand what we're talking about. Now, you cannot get high enough in the air to take this picture. This is a map that was stitched together the same way they made the fake globe, right? We're going to be getting into what you can actually go out and test and see. That's what matters. This is just a representation.
Yeah, so we took the Hotine and we set it to the orientation of the CS spheres. And so with this, you can clearly see all 24 time zones coming into the single north point. You can see the 12 coming into the south on one side, the 12 coming into the south on the other. Now these other lines that we have on here. So the red line is the equator. You know, people that have been researching this topic, you should know by now it goes through Ecuador, northern Brazil, and then it comes below like the notch in Africa, right? It goes across this narrower section, goes through the Philippines. Now we have 2 yellow lines. One's the Tropic of Cancer, one's the Tropic of Capricorn. What these represent is these lines are at 23.5 degrees. That is the farthest travel north, where along this yellow line, what you'll have is at the summer solstice, you will have the sun 90 degrees overhead at this point. On the summer solstice, 90 degrees overhead. You can't go any further than this. After that, it's not going to be 90 degrees over your head. No, 6 months out from that. So this is the summer solstice of the south of the equator. They have it at the Tropic of Capricorn, they call it, 23.5 degrees south. So the sun travels so that its 90 degree overhead position goes as far as south as this line. The sun can only be between these 2 lines right here. But it's not one physical sun. It's a gaseous ball traveling above everybody's head. It is not. Neither is the moon.
Wait, can I interject?
Mm-hmm.
So the main reason why I stopped promoting this reality, right, and showing you how the sun would travel along these lines, I did all that in a 3D modeling. Jason made an observation, right, where the sun was directly over his head. And he asked me, oh, Ronnie, is the sun over your head too? And I said, actually, it is. So what we know is that in this fake map, just a representation, the sun never travels outside of those 2 yellow lines. Right? So when I'm telling you that the sun is above your head and above my head and above everybody else's head and that's watching right now, the people in the south, the people in the north, it destroys the idea that you live in a physical reality. It goes bye-bye. You cannot ration it. The only way you can understand it is that you have a circle around you where everything happens, and depending where you are on the map, it changes what happens in your circle. And that's how you can tell where you are. Right? It's a clock. It's not just a clock. It's also a navigational system above us. And it's simple. This is not complicated. Now, Yahawah's daughter, I just want to give her a shout out. If anyone's off topic tonight, boot them out. We don't care. If you want to email us, you can email me at awakeeple, awakeeple@gmail.com, or Jason at awakesouls@gmail.com. If you get booted and you want to come back, you can email us and explain what happened. We want people on topic tonight. If there's any questions, either put YD in the question so it shows up and she can bring it to our attention. Jason, you want questions tonight. You want people to get involved. We want to hear what you guys are not understanding or understanding, because I believe that an advanced 10-year-old should be able to understand what we're putting down here. Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind.
Nobody should be able to walk away from tonight saying they don't understand it, because that means they didn't ask the question, because we can answer all these questions live.
Yes.
So tonight what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a study in Cape Town.
We got a question.
Okay.
So how does the time zone thing go on the map in regards to, I don't know what she's saying, Little Dominid Islands? Okay, so the time Jason just explained, there's 24 lines of longitude here, right? Jason, you can curse them out so people can understand what I'm saying. So each one of those lines represents 1 hour that the sun travels. The sun travels 24,000 miles, and each line represents 1,000 miles on the map. That's how the time zones are delineated out on this projection. And not only that, but it does away with magnetic declination. You don't need any of that, right? The way that the curved lines happen is if you're going south, right, 180 degrees, you're going to follow all of these different lines of longitude down until you hit 180 degrees south. Now, if you veer or turn any degrees off of 180 degrees south, you do not run into an ice wall like the flat earthers tell you. That's baloney. It's lies, because you hit water. The majority of the boundaries, they're all water, except for Antarctica. That's at 180 degrees due south, right? So that's how the time zones work. They're broken up into those sections.
So this is a depiction of the equinox on the equator. So with this being the prime meridian, day begins. So 1 hour after the sun has rose, you're gonna have shadows. No, these are sunsets. The day begins over here.
That's the only difference too, you guys, on the other side of the screen. The only thing that happens when you cross over the edge of the map on the left is you have to change your calendar and everything 1 day further. Right? That's it. That's the only thing that happens.
But you can see by
magic.
You can see by the shadows how eventually the sun becomes directly overhead. So this is what we measure is when the sun's directly overhead. That's going to tell us when our solar noon is. And you can use these 15-degree lines of longitude to mark out the time zones. And that's how they do it. As we get into the modeling, you'll see more and more of that. So let's go ahead and take a look at a video here. I'm going to actually let me bring the map up one more time and point out something. So Cape Town is down here at the tip of South Africa. All right, so here's 0 degrees. There's your equator. This is 15 degrees south. This is 30 degrees south. And we're going to be down here in Cape Town. Now, like we said earlier, the Tropic of Capricorn is the farthest path that the sun is going to be 90 degrees overhead at the summer solstice. All right, so this is the farthest south that the sun is going to be traveling.
Yeah, that's great. I just want to interrupt you really quick. We just had a question from Michael Lampert. He said, what do you mean by the sun does not travel outside of the yellow tropic lines? So what we're saying is, theoretically, it doesn't. But in reality, it does. It goes above everybody's head. People in Ushuaia at the bottom of South America have the sun above their head. It's above their head.
Yeah,
right?
This is a measurement of how far south you can go and see the sun 90 degrees overhead. And that's only going to be on your summer solstice. That's the farthest, because it's between the summer solstice for the north of the equator and the summer solstice for south of the equator. You've got 6 months. All right. And so it's an apparent path because it is not a physical object traveling above a person. We're going to be able to prove that as we go forward here.
And then the angle that you shoot the sun, the further south you go from the Tropic of Capricorn, will give you your longitude, your latitude, the lines that go east-west, right? If you measure the sun's angle, you will know exactly where you are on the map just by measuring the height of the sun. Like Jason said, at 90 degrees, the sun is overhead in the summer over the Tropic of Cancer. And in the wintertime, for the north, the sun will be above the Tropic of Capricorn. 90 degrees, you'll measure it straight up, which people in the earth used to use what we call sextants. So it's a device where you angle up into the sky and you keep it flat and level with the earth and you measure the angle of degrees up, your azimuth, and you'll know exactly where you are. It's very simple, you guys.
All right, so I want to show people something quick. Here's with the Freemason New World Order AE map model. So even on the Gleason, you have the tropics. Here's the tropic of Capricorn right here. So you can see that Cape Town is south of the tropic. So in the Freemason New World Order AE map model, you could never have sun on the south side of any object anywhere because all the AE map modelers out there know that the sun travels only between the tropics. All right, so the sun can't be down here to illuminate the south side of any object. It can't. All right, that's an important point. Let's go ahead and I want to show you, this is the Clock Tower Cam Strand Beach. What I wanted to do was I wanted to find a webcam in some location south of the Tropic of Capricorn, and I was able to find one here in Cape Town. So here is a camera that was running on January 5th, Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. When it plays, you can actually see there's a timestamp associated with it. You see there, it's...
Do you have a full screen presentation here?
Yeah, I can
also. Yeah, I know YD had mentioned to us before that with the lower thirds and everything flashing through the screen, which is very important if anyone's just tuning in. We put a lot of the things that we stand upon as foundations down there, but now you can see it's a bit clearer and easier to see when it's full screen what Jason's going to be presenting here, because this is super key and important for everyone to understand. Now we're actually doing an outside observation. We're not showing you a modeling program. This is what you can go and witness yourself. Boom. Oh, we don't have sound. You've dropped when you switched your screen share. Thank you very much, Wadi. That was super fast. He's gonna add his mic back in. We also have people tuning in too from New Zealand, right? All these different places in the South. Bronick is tuning in from Australia, right? So all of you people in Australia and the South, you can witness these same things that Jason's bringing up now. And if you guys have places where you could actually show us live streams, please leave it in the comments below, because we're looking for more evidence to show people like this.
Yeah, so this is the Strand Beach in Cape Town, and we have this clock that we have a video of, a webcam that we're going to be able to check a whole bunch of things out with. Now, this is a Google Street View of it, so we can actually get our orientation. The red, all right, the red is north. So you can see if we center ourselves up on this thing, now we can see this side of the clock. This is the north side of the clock. When we look at the video, you're going to see that from the position of where the camera is for this video here, you can see the north side of the clock. All right, we don't have to have this set perfectly to the cardinal directions. It would be nice if it was. But you can see in this shot right now, when this one was taken, let's see what time it is. Let's see what time it is on the clock. It's 11:45. quarter to 12, and look at which direction the shadow's being cast. So we can tell here that this is the north side of the clock. This is the east side of the clock. Over here is your south side of the clock. Now, once again, I want to remind you that in the Freemason New World Order AE map model, the sun doesn't travel more than 23.5 degrees south. It doesn't. And so you could never have direct sunlight on anything south-facing, south of the Tropic of Capricorn. You could never have it with a model like this. This is a physical reality. This is a Kabbalistic reality. And because the sun travels between the tropics, you could never have direct sunlight on something south of the Tropic of Capricorn. Now we're going to show you that you can. All right, so let's go ahead and check out this video. And you can see that here we are in the morning. This is like 8:24 a.m. And what do we have right now? We have
The north face is dark.
the north face is dark. All right, now not all these shadows are working the best. You can see the direction that the shadow is going from this car. You can see it from the people walking around. There's not a lot of other great shadows to work with at this section of the shot, but as the day progresses, we'll skip ahead. We still don't have any light on the north side of this clock. All right, so the sun was coming up from south of east, and the shadows were being cast to the northwest. Now we'll just keep going along throughout the day, jumping ahead, jumping ahead. We still don't have any light on the north side of the clock yet. Not yet.
Yeah, you're only skipping like 20, 30 minutes at a time here.
Yeah. So now, let's go ahead. You can see that right now, you're starting to get a little bit of light on this north side of the clock. You can scroll around in the picture. You can see which direction the shadows coming off of this palm tree. You can see the shadow coming off of the people as they're walking around. Now, if I go a little bit more.
Oh, I see light on the front of the clock.
Yeah, see? There's still a shadow being cast here. The sun's just coming up to the point where it's actually giving a little bit of direct light to the front of the clock now. Now I'm going to jump ahead more here. Where are we at time-wise?
Almost an hour.
Yeah, so we're at like 12. This is after lunch, and look at where the shadow is. Do you see how this shadow is pointing down in the middle right here?
I see it.
The sun is very, very much directly up over this clock right now. You can see by the shadow that's being cast right here. You can clearly see it. So it's directly overhead, but it's on the north side.
The screen's got to get pulled over to the left in the OBS. I don't know if it'll bother you later.
What are you talking about?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I just zoomed in.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so now let's go through the afternoon a little bit here. We've got sun on the north side of this clock now. Nice direct sunlight. Now what's going to happen? Well, the sun's going to move around. We're going to take a look at this path real closely, everyone. The sun is moving around this north face. Now all of a sudden, guess what? This side is in the shadows. And watch this as it wraps. Sunlight wraps around. Notice we don't see the sun in the shot at all right now. But as we get into the afternoon here, we're going to see the sun start to come in up here. Now look at what's happening with our direct light now. You see the sun is now present up here in this corner. And as this progresses, we're going to continue to see more and more of the sun coming into the shot. Now keep in mind that the size right now has to do with exposure. As it gets lower and lower, the auto exposure in the camera is going to adjust for it. And so it's the brightness of the sun that's creating the size right now, but it's going to come in more and more, and it's going to come down this direction over here. So watch this.
Southwest.
All right, more and more in the shot.
Could have just used the arrow. Oh, no, it's good.
And here, this is super incredible. So now because of the brightness, it's getting down to its actual natural size. And you can
clouds behind the sun there.
And you can clearly see that there's this topography of land over here. All right, this is going to be super important. This is going to help us out a lot. And so you can see where the sun set. It's set down here at this angle. Now, let's take a look at this at SunCalc. All right, so just thinking size of screen here. All right, this right here. Come on, work.
What are you trying to change?
The page is, oh.
There you go.
There we go. All right, so here's the clock right here, everyone. So I'm going to set this on the clock. Now this right here, these lines, we're going to be showing you this in another program as well. But the orange line is the angle that the sun rises from. This reddish line is the angle that the sun sets at. So now what we can do here is you can drag the slider. Why is this site not working?
Just to say one thing, you might need maybe refresh the page, but you might lose your tab. You can literally go to this clock there, it moved, and you can take a compass. This is what we're trying to explain to people. And you can actually measure these angles. And you know what you're going to find? That they're perfectly spot on. Perfectly. Okay, you can do this yourself if you live in Cape Town. We've done it here in Texas. You can do it yourself.
So just at the moment that the altitude of the sun is above the horizon, you have a positive number here. You can see that its azimuth is 118 degrees. All right, this east is 90. All right, 118, this is south of east. So this is the direction that the sun is coming up. It follows this yellow path right here. And you can see that it's coming up north of the observer right here. See how it comes north of the observer, but then it comes back around and sets to the southwest. This is 108 or 270 degrees. And at sunset, the sun is going down
way past west. Okay, if we
at
lived on
241.
The AE map and model debunk here is that the sun is circling the opposite direction that it would need to be if it was traveling around Polaris. This is now traveling around Sigma Octans in the south, going the other direction, people. I just want to point that out.
No, we were watching that other footage, and remember where we saw the sunset?
Between the island. Just as you can see the land rise, it was a degree or two to the left of that.
Look at this.
I remember. Okay, boom, right there. You see the topography rise up exactly in the exact same spot. Yes, I'll give you a bell for that.
Right there in that notch. So if back in that footage right here, you see that notch in the hill right there? That's right where the sun set.
I also have something else to point out here. It's just that Jaron was asking for people to show a sunset in the south so that he could verify that the sun doesn't all of a sudden, the light starts circling the other direction. Absolutely, Jaron. You can go to the same website that Jason was just on. You can see that the sun continues to travel south. It does not hook around and go back north. That's stupid talk. We're showing you here these observations. Jason showed you the video of it live, the cam, not live, but it was live. Now he's showing you the modeling program that measures the angles that we use to verify, everybody. This is to verify our claims as actual observable evidence. And this program here, you're on a flat map. That water between the island that Jason's got the sunset and the clock tower is flat. You could take a level and you could measure 5 feet up from the top of that water on this side and 5 feet up from the top of the water on that side, and they will be absolutely dead nuts level, not curved, level, flat.
Yeah, so this path right here might be a little difficult for people to visualize in their head that are a little three-dimensionally challenged. Now we have another tool that can help with that. So now I've got the marker in this Andrew Marsh site set to the exact same location and at the same day. We're at January 5th. Now with this model, I can move it around in 3D space, and I can help a person visualize what it is that you're seeing right here. So this yellow area right here represents the exact same yellow area that you see right here. All right, this is the... Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like you to explain. So on that circle right there, right, there's 6 sections. The Book of Enoch, written 5,000 years older ago, showed us exactly, Enoch, look into the east and count thereof 6 sections that the sun travels in every month. So the tropics is the furthest, the highest arc you see in the sky represents the Tropic of Capricorn. The lowest arc on the other side represents the Tropic of Cancer. Now, in between Cancer and Capricorn, you have 6 sections here, just as Enoch told us. We didn't make this modeling program. I want to reference everybody. This is what Andrew Marsh made. And this is exactly what Enoch wrote down 5,000 years ago. That's why we're not playing games anymore. We're not placating. We're going to show you what is truth, and the rest is going to be up to you guys on the other side of the screen. The analemma is also being demonstrated here, and you can see that it's oblate. The larger half would be in the southern section. We are in the south, and the southern section, the larger of the loop, the 8. The figure 8 in the sky is a snapshot of the sun once a month, creates what we call a sun trail or analemma, and you can see that it's oblate. The south side is fatter than the north side. When Neil deGrasse Tyson goes up there like a big shot and says the earth is oblate, he says it's kind of parrot shape. So the land masses and the way that the sky works, it is oblate in the south. And that's how it's explained right there in the analemma. If anybody has any questions about anything I just explained about the 6 sections, they're not portals, right? There's 6 areas that you can take a compass and you can look into the sky. And when the sun rises up in that section, you can mark it down. There's one gate. The sun travels all the way to one side, and then it turns around exactly the way Enoch says and traverses back to the other side. And it goes back and forth, and it rises up in the sky and it sets. And it says in the scriptures that it rests not. It's constantly on its path. So it rises, so too the sun sets. Everywhere on earth, someone's either having a sunrise or a sunset all the time. And that's everything explained. If you guys don't understand this, please ask questions.
Here's the equinox. We understand this to be the going into the 4th gate. All right. So this is 30 days long, then another 30 days long. Then it goes 15 out, and it goes 15 back, and then 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, 15 out, and then 15 back.
Enoch says that the sun turns about its path and traverses again once it came. And Enoch perfectly explains how the 6th and 1st gates are smaller. They're half the size. You know how fantastically amazing the fact that Jason and I can bring this website up in 2022, ladies and gentlemen, and we can show you exactly what Enoch saw and the angels told him to write down. Exactly. Right here it all is. And again, we can go back to your demonstration, brother, for people to understand. We watched the video with the clock tower. We showed you guys the footage, right, of where it rose, where it set. Right, south of east it rose, and it's going to set drastically south of west. Now we're showing you on a flat plane, a mock city in the center where the shadows match exactly the sun's path. And what I want to point out here is that the height of the sun above the city is actually likened unto what you will absolutely measure yourself. The sun is not 92 million miles away. It's not 3,000 miles up. It's literally right there.
What? Yeah, it rises and sets within your circle of sight. Whatever the distance to the horizon is that you can see, if we go back to the video, we can go and measure how far it is across this bay. All right, from this clock tower across to this other side here, this is measurable. The sun is setting just behind this hill right here. Right there. That's where it goes down and disappears. Watch. Like
right there. It looks, appears, everything that we can measure, it sets into the ground. If it's over water, it sets into the water. We've witnessed this. We've filmed it. We're not playing games here with people. We're showing you what is. And you might want to say that we're need to be more humble or this or that. No, the truth itself is a roaring lion. Jason and I just give it voice. Our tongues are the rudders of the truth, right? You guys can either accept this or you can continue to be clowns and go around with infinite ice walls and stupid domes and stuff that's not real, or you can figure this out and join a team that wants to win, the winning team for the truth. We're not out here playing games. Again, I want everyone to pay attention to what we're showing. This is what reality is.
So here we are, right at a sunrise, and there's two measurements that we need, all on a flat plane. You have your azimuth, where north is your 0 and 360, east is 90, south is 180, west is 270. Right? So you have your azimuth, and then you have your altitude. That is the angle up in the sky. So at rise, the altitude is 0, and then it goes up, and you have two measurements here. You see how we have this loop around measurement and this measurement right here? These two measurements are what predict the position of the sun, moon, and stars anywhere on Earth any day of the year. So this right here, it's actually showing you the direction that the shadow is going to be cast, how long the shadow is going to be. This is what we can do to actually verify all locations on Earth. If they got a webcam, if there's video of it, that's all we need. All right, now this model right here allows you to have the ability to have this outside view. The other thing that we're going to be looking at is stellarium. But this outside perspective here, nobody's ever going to have, ever.
The only person that has it in recorded history is Enoch. Enoch was brought up by angels into the second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh heaven. So Enoch saw this, and he was given the permission because he was a righteous man, because he wrote what was true. Enoch spoke truth. He got this perspective. You will never get this perspective because the sun, the moon, the stars, and rainbows are all equidistantly to your vantage point. That means you can't get to the end of a rainbow. The higher you go, the further out and the higher out the sun gets, right? We're trying to explain to you guys that it's like a virtual realm, okay?
So the sun path around the observer here, you can see now as we drill down that it is casting shadows to the south, right? This is a solar noon here where you have the sun directly at its zenith, and it's casting these shadows to the south, but a short distance. So that is proof that the sun is actually north of the observer at this location. But
so
go ahead.
Well, the shadows always point the anti-position of the sun. So if the shadow's pointing to the left, the sun is on the right. It does not fail. Someone in the chat asked if we had video footage of the sun setting into the ocean. Of course we do. We don't say things that we can't prove. That's the key thing. The only thing I told you guys tonight that I can't prove is the overall picture of the map. What we can do is take these little circles of sight that Jason has on, place them on the map the way we have, and it absolutely aligns with everything in your reality. You just face the north and south of this circle over top of our map. Jason has already showed you guys this tonight, and you have a perfect representation of reality, and everything is the correct spot. This isn't even debunkable. This is what I'm trying to explain to people. This is what is. We're not out here telling you we think or we believe. We're telling you this is exactly what is measured. We're telling you straight.
So you can tell that this is the path of the sun, right? That we saw come into view over here, right? When we go back here, it's
maybe just using your arrows to move the sun's position.
What do you mean?
Better, or fast forward it, or
this is like
you're trying to show the arc, right? You want to show the arc of the sunset.
Yeah, it's a 12-hour stream though. It's long.
Yeah. You just need to slide across, maybe.
Yeah,
I know what you're trying to show people. We want to show you the bend, and the hook down to the south, right?
Yeah, you can see that it's coming in and it's coming down at this exact angle that is being represented right here. That is the path of the sun coming down around the observer there. That's going the absolute wrong direction for any sort of AE map and model. Now, this becomes more extreme the farther south you go. More extreme. But I was able to find a camera for a place that I was able to find on Google Maps, and I can show that it's setting across a bay. This right here, you can move this around anywhere on Earth, and it's going to show the path around the observer. And what I like about this is it's the way it scales. So I wish I could grab this and tilt it, but I can't with this model. It just gives you this view. But now as we watch what happens, if we go farther north, why the site keeps on breaking on me. So as we drag this farther and farther north, guess what's going to happen? The distance between the sun and the observer right here, farther north we go, it's going to become closer and closer and closer until we get up to the Tropic of Capricorn. All right, let me scale this out a little. Closer, closer. See how they're getting closer and closer to each other? Now you can tell that we're getting close. We must be at the Tropic of Capricorn now. Look, latitude 2311 degrees. Now you actually have a position where the sun can come 90 degrees overhead of the observer. Right? You can move this anywhere on Earth, people. This is the model of your reality. This is how it works.
So I sent you a video from List Dexic, and now I'm on Naui Jaws channel. Now I know you also have some amazing links with sunrises and sunsets over water, because someone in the chat after we made the claim would like to see some of the evidence. So the one that I sent you, right, from List Dexic, shows the sun coming out of the ground. Let alone, we don't need water to show you how this happens. It literally happens over land too. I'm not seeing List Dexic or Naui Jaw.
It's not available.
What?
I clicked on a link you sent me and it said the video is no longer available.
I don't know how that's possible, because I clicked on the video to send it to you. I'm looking at it right now. Let me get you a different link. Because we don't say things that we can't back up, because that wastes our time and your time. And this absolutely is something that we're very serious about. This isn't a game. It's not a joke. This is the truth. This is what we dedicate our lives to.
So this model represents the distance to the horizon that a person can see. This is the path that you see the sun traveling. You can do it at Suncalc. You can do it at the Andrew Marsh site. You can do it anywhere you want. And you can see that from the fall equinox to the spring equinox, everywhere south of the equator, everything is rotating in the sky from south of east, up and over the observer, and then setting south of west. This can only be done on a localized scale where every single person sees luminaries going around them like this.
You know what's funny, Jason?
Mm-hmm.
I got to let everyone know. So I did send you a link that works. All you have to do is search P1000 sunrise, right? Wait till you guys see. This isn't even a flat earther that I know of. I don't know who this person is. Sun is big eye or big mushroom. Just all you have to do is search the realm. People have gone out with cameras that aren't in this movement, and they've witnessed to it for us. So I think you have it up. Let me come back on. I want to watch. So here we go. Someone with a P1000, the same thing that Jason and I use. Same camera. This is just a random search online. You can find this. Watch what happens to the sun here. It goes into the ground. Watch. Where's the sun going, guys? What's happening to it right now? Look. Open your eyes and look. It's not moving away from you over some stupid AE map. It's not how it's working. What's happening to it? This is amateur footage. These aren't professionals. This isn't CGI. It's just a search. P1000 sunrise. What's taking place here? Where's the sun going, guys? Tell me. I'm all ears. Figure it out. I'm gonna wait.
It's going down.
Yeah, but the shape of it, it's setting into the ground.
Look at that.
What is this here?
Yeah, what is this?
People are amazed. They're amazed. Welcome to your real reality, people. What's been hidden from you? This has been hidden from you. Not just a flat plane. The supernatural realm that you live in has been hidden from you. But here we are, in the name of Yahawahashai, and we will bring you what is. And you can accept it, or you could just walk away and play games with Ashkenazi, tiny hat idiots that want to lead you into their false dialectic. They can make money off you. They can send you out to get debunked and make you look like an ass clown. Or you can join the winning team. I'm going to say it over and over again. Time is short, though. Time is short, guys. I can tell you that right now. The sun is setting into the ground.
There we go.
Not shrinking. It's not moving away. It's setting into the ground. Naui Jaws is an even better representation. But this one I just found, just boom. What's happening to the top of the sun?
This tree right here absolutely got in the way of this shot, but...
Yeah, I know, but it's still evidence. Boom. Like, what you gonna do? Take this. I don't care what you do with it. You don't live in the world you thought you did. This place is supernatural. The creator made it. And then there's the one other link.
Yeah, right.
Just to bring it home a little bit more
What
for
is
anybody
this?
that...
Look at that. There's the
Yes, I'm a
sun's-
little fired up. I'm fired up tonight, Jay. I am. I'm fired up because I love the truth. I will die for this information. Go ahead, kill me. Like, who do you think that came around telling people that they were going to be reincarnated and that the Father created us and that you need to love him? What do you think they did to him? They killed him. They nailed him to a torture state. They're letting us say it, so that's great. We're not going to stop. But look at this footage. Watch as the sun comes up out of the ground. This is someone from Poland. Doesn't even speak English, but he follows our channel and he does amazing observations. Some of the best in the realm. Watch it come up. You see the light there? You see how there's light behind the sun? That's the earth. It's not water we're looking at now. Now we're looking at a hill. It's coming up out of the hill. Look, open your eyes, everybody. We're not playing games anymore.
It's going to come up right in here.
Look at the light, the way that it's scattering. There's bright lights behind it, dark ground in front of it. It's coming up in between those and trees. Open your eyes.
Cutting right through right there. Trees behind it, trees in front of it. Right out at a ridge line.
This isn't a debate. This is what is. You can either take it or you can go and play games with Ashkenazi tiny hatters. I'm going to continue to say it over and over again. But their hats are getting knocked the F off tonight because I'm done with these games. You're either going to accept the truth and witness it, or you guys are going to be destroyed with the rest of the sheep. It's your call. Jason and I simply just bring it to you. You can either accept it and fight with us, or you can go pop off with the other tiny hat Kabbalists and do your thing, and you're going to be destroyed. Right? That's what it is. You can quote me on that too.
Watch it cut between the front tree line and the back tree line.
It's obvious. The sun is rising up out of the ground. Right there. You can literally see it splitting trees in front of your eyes, you guys. And go ahead, get your camera out and start filming this yourself. Go ahead, try to debunk us. I'll pay you if you could debunk it, because we've done it ourselves. We filmed it. Got some weird animals with them. And yes, I'm fired up, everybody. Yes. I'm not a aggressive person by nature, but I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of the games that these idiots play online. We don't know, blah, blah, blah. You guys, you just open your eyes. The sun is not shrinking. It's not approaching you. It's coming up out of the ground, coming up out of the earth, exactly the way that the scripture said it did. Exactly the same. It's not a game. See that? That's earth. That's land. It's not an ocean.
Coming up out of the ground. Yeah, and there's so much else that you can do to prove that the sun comes up out of the ground or the water. So much, because if you have clouds above the sun right here, guess what? It's locally illuminating the clouds just above it. And then it'll go up through those clouds, and you'll be able to see clouds in front of and behind. Ooh.
His talk.
Yeah, so that
he's got some great footage.
It is.
I'll put that in the chat. Let me get these links in the chat for people, and you can do your own searches, ladies and gentlemen. You just search P1000 sunrises and sunsets, and you get a plethora. See, this is the other thing. You guys on the other side of the screen, there's never been any evidence for a 52-day up all sun where the sun doesn't set. It just circles above you in the north and in the south. There's no proof of it. Okay. If something is happening in reality, you better believe you're going to find lots of evidence, and not just by Jason and me or Nowie Jaw. You can search it on YouTube, and there should be hundreds, if not thousands of videos. Okay. That's how we verify things. It has to be repeatable and observable, the way that science was supposed to be, right? And when it's repeatable and observable, it's settled. It's not a debate. We're not going to go on someone other's channel and have a debate with them where they say this or that. We're going to show you what is, right? You can witness it with us, and you can share the information with us. If you want to get your rewards, you fight for the truth. Jason and I are doing this as a game. Well, it might be a game, the game of life, right? But we're doing this because the truth is what is powerful. Nothing else in this realm has any power. If it's a lie, it's a weak power. The truth obliterates lies. It just wipes them off the map, literally. And what we just showed you guys, and I'm going to stop my rant, is the sun literally coming up out of the water and out of the ground. Literally. There's no way. You could see the light on the trees behind, and you could see the shadow as the sun split up through that section. Now, you guys want to take it for whatever it is. We use the word virtual realm. Supernatural place, right? It's not some sticks and bones and atoms and all this stuff. No, that's nonsense. Get rid of those thoughts. And thank you for listening to me. And again, I'm not going to stop. This is exactly how we're going to continue to do it moving forward in 2022, because any day now, the Great Tribulation could start. So for us, if you've come to the truth, there's a good chance that you're going to come into the millennial reign. That's why we're here, right? And if you guys, go ahead.
Now let's go ahead and take a look at the moon. All right, so we've been paying attention to the sun right now. We can do the same exact thing with the moon. And now that you've seen how this works with the sun, this orange line is showing you where the moon rises, the path of the moon, all right, up to it's not solar noon when it's the moon, right? It's a meridian passing, they call it then. But then it shows the arc down to its setting. So now the moon flips back and forth like crazy. Absolutely like crazy. Now we're in, where are we? We're in South America right now. All right. So now what I want to do is show people how this path changes, where if we were to move ourselves farther north here, you can see that the sun, or the moon now, is south of the observer here, right? At its meridian crossing. Now, if we use the tool that we do for the sun, that means that this arc right here is going to be south of the observer, like this. But now here we're doing it with the moon. So the moon is coming up from south of east here. It's south of the observer here and setting south here. This is the path of the moon for an observer on this day at this latitude. Now, if you change the day of the month, let's go out another 2 weeks. Whoa. Same location, but now we've got the moon coming up from north of east, all right, and it's way north of the observer, setting to the north of west. Change it another 2 weeks.
So the sun travels between all the 6 gates every month. And again, I know some things might be complicated, but really, you guys on the inside of the screen, this is not complicated. You can figure this out. She has an extraordinary path that Enoch taught us. He taught us all the different positions of the moon, and her rises and her cycles. We learned it all from Enoch, a book written 5,000 years ago that was handed down through the flood, rewritten, brought back from Ethiopia, right? And other underground, there were vessels buried in the earth in salt caves. We found these books and we matched the words up to the moon's path, and it absolutely verifies the book of Enoch.
So you can see within the course of a month how steep the angles can be coming from south of east, setting to the south of west, and having its meridian crossing being south of the observer, all the way down here. Right? You can have the moon coming directly overhead, 90 degrees overhead. Here we are at 26 degrees south latitude. 26. This is outside of the tropics.
So we got someone mouthing off in the chat. Gary Wybenga. Listen to this, Jason. These guys are screwballs. Occasionally they get something right, but for the most part they're wrong. So like YD said, I would like you to timestamp, right? Show the world our words where we've got anything wrong, where we've taught anything that was wrong. Yes, we weren't pronouncing the ha and the sha in the names of Yahawah and Yahawahashai, and we've come out and admitted that and shown that we've changed our pronunciations of the names of the Creator and the Christ. But there's no one else out here but you spouting off nonsense that we're liars. And we never claimed to be the two witnesses. We claimed that we put our applications in for the job and we're looking for who they could be, because the scriptures teach that you need to find the two witnesses and they need to have their ministry before the Antichrist comes and is crowned. So we're following the scriptures. We're not trying to rapture out of here with some nonsensical Freemason psyops. We're about the truth, Gary. So I suggest you just stop typing in the chat, pay attention, right? Or you're going to look like a fool because you can't back anything you say up. Show us where we've done anything wrong. Okay. And if not, you're a liar. You're a flat out liar and the whole world can see. And I don't want to be called a liar. So you cannot timestamp me lying because I don't lie. Right. So I would just suggest, Gary, that you pay attention. Right. We're not playing games here anymore. This is about the truth. People's salvation is about the truth. This isn't a joke. Jason is explaining here. I'd like everybody to stay on topic. He's showing you how the path of the moon works.
All right. So you can see here the moon altitude. All right. When we get up to this meridian passing right here, it's basically 90 degrees overhead. We're at 89.61. We're very, very close to being directly underneath the moon right here, where if you were to hang a plumb bob from the moon, it would hit you in the head at this point right here. It came up from south of east. It's going directly overhead here. We're 26 degrees south. This is south of the tropics. So let's go ahead and look back at the Freemason New World Order AE map model.
I got a debunk to say. Can you make the dome bigger?
Yeah, I can.
Before you get into your explanation, I just want to show people something. Jason's actually figured out a way to make a dome so we can get your stupid Freemason PSYOP firmament dome, which firmament means rakia, which means sky, right? The heavens, the place where the birds fly. So Jason's built a dome here around your stupid 60,000 mile ice wall, which is retarded. Because if you if you take a path that's not due south, you won't hit ice. Never. The only time you do is if you go 180 degrees due south. Okay, here's your dome, right? Boom. There, Jason's now encapsulated your snow globe, fake Freemason, UN, flying in outer space pizza model. Okay, stop right there. Can we hover over top of that? I want people to think, okay, if the AE map and the dome was real and the stars, the fixed stars, were on the outside of this model, attached to the dome, so-called Freemason PSYOP. If I'm in Canada, if you put your cursor there, if I was to look at the night sky, the Big Dipper circling in the sky, I would have to look through Russia, through the sun, to get to the dome on the other side of the map. That is absolutely retarded. That is not the way that we see the stars. People in Canada see the stars in their circle of sight. This model and this map is so retarded, and it was brought out so that they could PSYOP you and take down the flat earth. And they basically have via YouTube, right? You cannot see through Russia and the sun. If the sun is set for Canada, swing the moon around. Let's use the moon now as an example. If the moon was in Russia, right, you'd have to see through the sun all the way across the map. This is an impossibility. It couldn't be more plain and simple than that. I hope everyone is getting what I'm saying. If you don't get what I'm saying, now is the time to ask a question in the chat or in the comment section after the video publishes.
All right. So here's another one of the major debunks. So if you get the David Weiss model where they have the sun and moon doing circles like this, I want everybody to see that the face of the moon that you see, you can clearly see with this right now that as I turn this, you would see all the way around the moon, right? When it was coming towards you, you would see this side right here.
So I want to slow this down. Okay, everybody in the chat, everybody watching, lurking, that's not in the chat, we love you too. The lurkers make up a majority of our viewers. Okay, we've only ever witnessed one side of the moon and one side of the sun. We just see a disc in the sky, a circle hockey puck shaped object. Okay, we've never seen the back side of the moon or the sun. Now the globe Earth tells you, oh, that's because it's in a perfect geocentric clock-like pattern where it just circles at the same time that the Earth circles, is what they say, right? But what Jason's showing you with this simple diagram is that if the moon was doing circles 3,000 miles up the way that it would demand on the AE map model Freemason New World Pizza map, you would see all 360 degrees of the sphere of the moon. We've never witnessed this ever. Only face we've ever seen is the man on the moon. And corresponding on your north or south, it inverts. You get a flipped moon in the south and an upright moon in the north, if you want to call it that. We've never witnessed the full circle of the moon, ever. No one, or the sun. Sunspots just cartwheel. That moon face that we're looking at right now is the moon face that we see, and it cartwheels. It cartwheels through the sky the exact same way that the scripture said it would.
Yeah, you can clearly see that if you were, let's say the moon's going around the equator in the Freemason model, you would look up and you would see the bottom side of the moon. The people from the north would see this side. As it was coming into, as it's rotating here, you would see one side coming towards you. You would see the other side going away from you. You would see everything about the moon except for the very top of it. Maybe the only thing that you didn't see. We don't see that. We absolutely do not see that. We see it cartwheel within our circle of sight. Right, so this right here is a massive, massive debunk. Another huge debunk is that on the Freemason model, they have Polaris here, and then they have all the stars rotating around like a record on a record player. and having them spread out to the wall out here. Well,
Well-
the rotational rate of the stars around Polaris would be ultra slow. Absolutely ultra slow right here, right? That's at the center of the record. And around the outside here, they would be absolutely whizzing past, sideways.
So what you get in the regular flat Earth movement of bunch of retards following tiny hat people, which I'm going to continue to bash over and over again, you get things like from Eric Dubas. He'll say the whole universe circles around Polaris. Well, absolutely no, it doesn't. Right? You have the northern stars that traverse around Polaris, and the southern ones, they go around Sigma Octans, and they have the one in the south has a cross. It's called the Southern Crux. It's a star pattern that people in the north have never seen, and it forms the shape of a cross, and it circles clockwise around Sigma Octans, and the people in the north see a Big Dipper, right, which is actually the shape of a bear if you draw it out, and it travels counterclockwise around Polaris, and all of the star speeds, guess what? They're all the same, right? The fixed stars don't move around, and then you have the 7 wandering or luminaries. They all move back and forth along the ecliptic, which is lined up with the Earth equator.
All right, so let's go back to the moon here. Does everybody see that we are 26 degrees south, that the moon came up from south of east? It's coming up to directly overhead and going out to south of west.
Yes, show this on the map.
In this model here, that is having, we're south of the tropics here. That is having the sun come up, or the moon come up from this direction, come up to directly overhead, and then set down here.
Circling away off the map, ladies and gentlemen. And it has to happen all the way around this. It has to keep circling off the map, on the map, off the map, on the map. It's retarded. We showed this over 5 years ago.
No, the only
5
thing
years ago.
The only thing that happens now, if I change my location like to the east, you'll see that it's further advanced because it's been up longer. All right, so as I continue to move like this, it's just going to continue this path down until it's set. So this is the timing of when things take place, and then the latitude sets the rise and set angles. The moon is much more complicated than the sun, but every month you have the ability to debunk the New World Order model with it. Every month.
There's my problem. Someone asked me in the chat, what do I have a problem with tiny hats? Because they've deceived everyone. The whole entire earth has been led astray by these people. And not every person that puts a tiny hat on is evil or wicked. The Father will sort that out, right? And the Son, right? Pay attention. And Sky Free, I don't really care if you don't like the way that I'm talking. This is our channel. We're not playing games anymore about stupidity, right? Refraction, all this stuff. We've already explained, shown, and proven these things, right? We're here to teach the people that are willing to learn the truth. And if you don't want the truth, go to someone else's channel that's going to tell you lies, sweet and dainty. I'm not here to tell you lies. I'm here to tell you the truth. And if you don't want to take it, you can go off to destruction with everybody else following the Kabbalists and their tiny hats. Because I'm done. I'm done with worrying about it. We're going to come out here. We're going to be bold. We're going to show you the truth. We're not going to play games with you. We're not going to pretend to be nice. We're going to show you what is. Now, we've done this for over 5 years. I've been doing this for 8 years. This isn't a game to me. This is my life, right? And the truth is the most important thing. And we're going to continue to do it over and over again. And if anybody else has any problems with my language, me getting aggressive, just go somewhere else. You don't need the truth. You can research and find your own truth, right? Follow your own vain imaginations, because Jason and I are going to be standing over here on the real observable evidence of our realm. And we're going to continue to show it over and over again.
So now,
yes, someone brought up the Vatican. Yes, the Jesuits are just as blamed. What do you think? They wear tiny hats too. Hello, wake up. The Jesuits wear tiny hats. Do I need to ring the bell? They're tiny hats too. The Freemasons, the Jesuits, the Rosicrucians, the Knights Templars, all the different sects, the Eastern Stars, you're all involved in it. You all swore oaths to lie, right? And we're here to destroy you guys. You understand? We spiritually, this battle that we wage isn't against people in the chat. It's about spiritual powers and wickedness in high places, and I will continue to burn it to the ground. You guys are lucky on the other side of the screen that the Father hasn't given me power to destroy everything, because I don't care anymore. People, you guys want to follow vain imaginations, right? When Jason and I have painstakingly gone through and researched all the different things that this realm is to have and observe, and we bring it out to you, and I've been nice for years and years and years. And you know what? I got sick, I came through it, and now I'm fired up, and this isn't going to go away. I'm going to continue to make videos. We're going to continue to come out here, and we're going to call out the liars and deceivers. We will burn them all to the ground supernaturally with spiritual war. The words that come out of our mouths are not insults, they're truth. And if it's burning your soul, Sky Free, I suggest you have a talk with the Heavenly Father right now. You need to get down on your knees and ask him why you're afflicted by someone boldly standing upon the truth. We're not some pushover Christians that go to some church and sing some fairy tale and shake hands a certain way so that we get a contract next week. We will give our lives for this information. I will die right now for this truth, because the only thing that's powerful in this realm is the truth, and no one will ever extinguish it. Never.
Well, and the thing is we understand all this. We've understood this for at least 4 years. Clearly, we can take any other model and we can debunk it. We can falsify it. We can show that it doesn't work, that it doesn't comport with reality. And we can show that these are the measurements that are measurable to any observer, and we can demonstrate this with things like live streams, like we did from South Africa, right? This was a webcam that ran. We can use this right here to prove that the AE map and model doesn't work and that we're in a simulation. We've been doing that. Now, what I did with the moon here is I jumped 2 weeks, and then I found where the meridian crossing is 90 degrees overhead again. Now we're 26 degrees north. So in 2 weeks, we went from the moon's path being, 26 degrees south to 26 degrees north. Watch this. You see this path right here? The moon's going to rise from way, way north of east. It's going to come up to being directly overhead right here. It's going to come set down. You have to look at it on the other part of the day here. And then let's go ahead and move this 2 weeks. And now, in order to get that directly overhead again, we're going to have to come way far south. Oh, is it Peru? We want... Here we go. Down in Bolivia. So now as we hold this back in... That's the other way. Yeah, that's pretty close. There now. Matter of 2 weeks now, it's coming up south of east. It's got its meridian passing 90 degrees overhead, setting southwest. So we can do this with the sun, the moon, the stars. That's a whole nother aspect that we do this with.
As you're transitioning into that, another reason why I get so fired up, everybody on the other side of the screen, is because I actually care about the youth, right? I was a youth at one point, and I was force-fed lies, and I was taught indoctrinated BS, right? So I get passionate because not only am I here fighting for the truth alone, I'm also fighting for the youth to learn the correct things, because I believe if children were taught the correct realm, the correct ways to navigate, the correct things, not taught these nonsensical Kabbalistic teachings, that they would be more grounded. They would have a better chance at becoming their full potential of what the Father made us to be. But yet this world, this realm, these dark occultists, they've just put spells over everybody. Look at what we're in, the new flu order. Right? Look at where we are right now. Right? I've been calling this out for years. So is Jason. All we want is for people to have the knowledge of what is, not with what games could be. We want to share the truth. That's it. I do this out of a love for the truth, because if for some reason I get taken from here, these
teachings and this information is going to be left up here. Okay. And I get aggressive because right now I really want people to pay attention, right? The hockey coach that flips the table in the dressing room with the Gatorade, you know, the team comes out and they respond. They act accordingly. Sometimes I've got to do that. Do I want to? No. And I don't want to. I want to be creating music and art and building things in this realm. Beautiful things for everyone to enjoy, but I can't because the new flu order has just ruined everything. So now we're going to transition into the sky, the stars in the sky. You've got the luminaries, the 7 wandering stars, and then we have the fixed stars. Saturn is the highest of the wandering stars, right? And Sirius shines the longest at nighttime for the fixed stars. Let's get into this.
So we're in Quito, Ecuador, which is very close to the equator. And I just want to point that out, that we're at roughly the equator here. So now you can see this grid work that's being placed in the sky here. We're looking east. Now I'm turning around. I'm looking to the north now. And you can see that it's right down at the horizon. See, that's Polaris at the horizon. Now if I run the minutes here, you can see that the stars, there goes your dipper. That's the Big Dipper is rotating. Let's get our clock back deeper into the night. So now as I run this, our clock is running up. We just passed midnight. You can see that the stars are rotating around Polaris. Polaris is at the horizon. You're only seeing half of the stars right here. They come up, they go around, they set. This is the horizon. We look to the west. As we run the clock here, you can see the stars are going straight down west. All right. As I turn and look to the south, remember we're at the equator, everyone. It's just like the north, but now as I run it, guess what? The stars are rotating clockwise. The South Pole is right at the horizon. This is like a drum around the observer. If I back this out a little bit, show people the sky, everything is rotating around the observer from horizon to horizon. You see this? This is the way the stars are rotating around you. This is the way the sun and moon and stars are rotating around you. The ecliptic that Ronnie was talking about at the equator, it's dead on right here. Now,
yes.
Now let's go farther south. Watch what happens as I start clicking down South America here.
You'll notice the angle.
Look at that tilt. All right, now all of a sudden, if I look to the north, there is no more Polaris. All right,
Gone beyond the vanishing point.
It's down. And if I look to the south, there's Sigma Octans. It's an empty spot in the sky. There's not a star right exactly at it like in the north with Polaris. But what we have is we have the Southern Cross, a very recognizable sign that as I run this, you can see the Southern Cross rotates around Sigma Octans. All right, this right here just absolutely obliterates the idea of the AE map model. Now all I have to do is go a little farther south, and it's higher in the sky. All right, so we've got people in Cape Town. It's roughly this high in the sky. Watch it. Let's get into the nighttime. All right, so just like in the north, people are familiar with being able to look at Polaris, watch things rotating around Polaris. They can do the exact same thing in the south. That's the reason why we had to find a stereographic map.
Someone in the chat says Sigma Octans is not a pole star. Yeah, it's a void.
We just explained that. How did they not hear us say?
But they're behind us. And the other thing I wanted to bring up, I've just noticed in the chat, didn't quite see. Sorry, Sky Free. I guess my rants, which I want the rants up there, wasn't directed at you. I misread what you were saying. You were talking about someone that had to be banned, and I stepped out of line. Again, I'm very aggressive tonight because this is super important to me that people actually start to learn the real reality of this realm, the way that the Father created it. And please forgive me if you're still here. I didn't mean to blast at you. Apparently, I have noticed you've made some good comments in the chat and you are learning, and I appreciate that you're here. I want you to be in the kingdom with me. I want you to stand upon truth, right? And I'm sorry, I should have read YD had everything under control, and I stand corrected for calling you out, Sky Free. I was in the wrong. I'm sorry about that.
All right, so this right here is absolutely critical for a person to understand. I wish so badly that we could go step outside of this model like we can with the Andrew Marsh. All right, so with the Andrew Marsh, we can run the sun. If we hit play here, we can take off daytime only. We can speed it up. Now you can see the path of the sun, right? The full path. It's always making these circles. The amount of time that it's up in the day is something that we can measure, right? So this location in Cape Town, this is January. Let's take it back to the 5th. That's when our footage was from. It won't stop on. There's the 4th. So there's 14 hours, 21 minutes of daylight. All right, that's very important to consider because that's more than 12 hours. Right? In the Freemason New World Order AE map model, the sun has to get around in 24 hours. And the length of the path between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, it's much, much larger. But now, here we are at the time of the year when the sun, we know, was out at the Tropic of Capricorn, and it has to make the longer path, yet it's up more than 12 hours a day, meaning that the day is longer during the winter. Longer.
Can I slow that down?
Yeah.
I'd just like to explain that in a little bit more easier terms. So if the moon here, if it's on a smaller circle, right, it would take less time to traverse one rotation of this map. If it's on the outside of the map, it's going to be a much larger circle. Anyone that's ever go-karted knows that they want the inside path because the inside lane is the smallest. Therefore, it's the shortest time to spin around this map. But what Jason is saying is when we measure the speed, or you could call it the speed, it's how long
length of day, yeah.
Length of day or length that the moon is in the sky. We find that it's even longer up in the sky south. So that therefore it wouldn't traverse the map in 24 hours. It would take like 5 days at the speeds that we see. I'm just guessing at that time. Again, that's a speculation, but it's absolutely impossible because what we find is they're perfect reciprocals of each other. Everything above the north and everything below the south are completely equal. So the solstice in the south, where the sun is up in the highest in the sky, takes the exact amount of time for the sun to rise and set as it does in the north when it's on the supposed smaller circle. That's why we teach that the tropics of Capricorn and Cancer and the equator are all the same length. And this goes against globular theory because in the globular theory, they're smaller than the equator, the tropics, but they are still the same length, the tropics in the globe theory. On the AE map and model, the Tropic of Capricorn is almost like twice the size as the Tropic of Cancer. And this does not comport with reality at all. And we need to make sure that people understand that. If anyone didn't understand that, please leave a comment in the chat or below.
Yeah. So right now in Cape Town, we're at 34 degrees south. Right? Let's pick the solstices. We'll go to December 21st. All right. And we're at 34 degrees south. We have 14 hours, 26 minutes. Now, if we come over here and we jump to the north, we're going to go up to 34 degrees north. Let's drag this down to, there's 34 degrees north. Now let's go to summer solstice. This is 6 months separated, so we're going for June 21st if we can hit it. You see all the measurements from the north. You take any latitude, we're at 35 degrees north latitude right here. And you look at these measurements from the north. All you have to do is go to the exact same latitude south 6 months out, and it's going to be identical but flipped. All right, so I'm going to look for 35 degrees south now. There's 35 south. Now we're going to run the date out to December 21st. And it's just flipped the other direction.
Perfect reciprocal,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we don't believe in opposites here, everybody, right? There's no such thing as an opposite of an orange. Okay, it's just nonsense gobbledygook talk. What Jason just showed you in the map of reality that we're showing you tonight is this program. It shows you that in the north at the same longitude, you have the exact same day length. The arc of the sun matches. Therefore, it's impossible for the circle to be larger or smaller. It's the same size, right? We're measuring the earth with the sun's path. We're not using anything else. It's super easy. Everyone can do this.
Yeah, and you can drag this pin around and you can see how it affects the path of the sun around the observer. It's always going to be rising and setting within these yellow bands around the observer. Around the observer.
Somebody in the chat, I don't know if they're trying to suggest that the stars in the south go counterclockwise. It's absolutely against everything we've ever seen. Kofu 72 filmed it all and showed us exactly. And Jason can come into the model of Stellarium here and show everybody the stars absolutely rotate clockwise below the equator on this realm. This isn't we're not believing this. We're telling you that's what you'll witness in the sky. We're not playing games. Again, this is what it is.
Testable, verifiable, repeatable.
Repeatable by everyone on Earth. Okay, it's not a time-lapse video by David Weiss deep inside his Freemason hole. This is absolutely what you can go and verify yourself. The stars rotate clockwise in the south around the void region called the octans, right? And they rotate counterclockwise in the north around Polaris. This isn't a game. This isn't our belief. This is what you will see. This is the way the Father hath created it.
And the farther south you go, the higher it goes in the sky. All right?
That's it. And here's another interesting fact. Nobody's ever taken a camera, right, and flown beyond Sigma octans, continuing south, and showed us everything that happens on the other side. And no one's ever gone over under Polaris and continued to watch Polaris set on the other side. We don't have any evidence. This is 2022, right? And we don't have any verifiable, repeatable evidences of anyone ever flying north-south anywhere on the map. But yet people want to come around and say they live on a globe, which is retarded because there's no curvature anywhere. And all these programs are built off of a flat plane that we're showing you. And again, why would that evidence not be shown? And everybody always wants to talk about the south in the flat earth because of the tiny hat Kabbalists, right? What about the north, where the actual northern lights come from, right? Where the Father's throne is apparently above the Polaris star, right? And there's supposedly supernatural two angels standing there with swords of fire and light. We want to know what's happening at the north. Now we're back at the equator, and this is a time when I'd like to explain to people. So the heavens, the things in the heavens that the Father hath created, they look like half spheres, right? What Jason is showing you here, everything is rising in the east, everything, and setting in the west. So when we look to the south or north, we see Polaris. So you understand the earth is flat. It's a flat horizon, a plane, right? And then there's a half circle above us, right? And then that whole circle rotates. You could call it the celestial sphere. Now, he hath said that he made the heavens all the same. So the sun, the moon, all these different luminaries have this heavenly circle to them. They rise from the east and they set down in the west.
Well,
right?
and the circle
earth divides it in half. The earth hath he made flat to delineate in between. Go ahead, Jay.
When he's saying a circle, we're not talking about sky sheets and
None of that.
crap like that. What we're talking about is the path of the luminary that you can measure. These lines right here, this one being measured from north, that's your azimuth. This line right here pointing up, that's your altitude. Off of a flat plane, you get two measurements, your azimuth and your altitude, and that can trace the exact path of every luminary around every observer.
That's right. This is the sun luminary, right? And then if we had the other 7, the moon and Jupiter and all the different Saturn and Mars and all that, we would give you the other heights. So this is the fixed stars, the ones that don't change that we're looking at here in front of us. And you can see that they're set at a distance, right? And that they were called heavens, different levels of heavens. Now, there isn't a physical dome there or something. The path that the luminaries trace is the arch or the bow of the sky. And that's the way that the Father hath created it. And he told us in the scriptures, all of this, you guys. This isn't, Jason and I aren't making this up again. We're just showing you what we verified as truth. And you can see there's the sun, there's the fixed stars. The scriptures say it's the 12 houses, right? Which is the zodiac, which the new age people then go and try to tell you, oh, you're going to have more wealth this month and all these other lies, which is just absolutely playing upon manifestation powers. What you hold in mind tends to manifest, right? But you can't manifest something that's not true. You can't make these stars change their position. None of that's ever been, it's a clock, like David Weiss says. And it's set there, the scriptures say, for seasons and for signs. So when these different luminaries enter into the different houses, right, we then have a different picture being told, right? And that's how we interpret the sky, and they have scriptures that talk about all these different things, right? You got Corona Australis here, you got Capricornus, you got they're all the different houses of the zodiac. There's 12 of them, and then sometimes people bring up like a 13th one, like an intercalary constellation, and all these things are more advanced, but we want to keep it simple. The 7 luminaries, Venus, the sun, the moon, the Mars, all these, Saturn, Jupiter, right? We can witness them and we can measure where they are in the sky. And guess what, you guys? This modeling program that Jason has on absolutely nails it. How many years can we go ahead? We can go back thousands of years. We can go forward through thousands of years. And you can go outside tonight if you are able to use your cell phone with the Star app, and you can absolutely line it up. It's exactly what we witness. That's why, Jason, you said it was so easy for you to show people the model of reality that we teach. They've already built them for us.
It's
right?
yeah.
Marsh, go ahead.
It's on a flat plane. And while we have everybody here right now, I just want to point out that tomorrow morning we're supposed to have rain, so we're not expecting to be able to see this. But Venus is going to become the morning star, and this is biblical. So
it's actually Ring of Fire star. Right?
Mm-hmm. So tomorrow morning, you can see here that all right, Venus is going to be coming above the horizon, 7:24 a.m. here in Austin, and the sun will be coming up here. So this tomorrow morning is when Venus should become the morning star. It's been the evenings. What's that?
Sorry. Yeah, someone's still stating that the stars go counterclockwise in the south. We just showed you the map and the model. Jason just showed you.
They're just liars.
Yeah, just block them now. Jason said that they're lying. Someone else did bring up many speculations. So if we saw the sun come up through the ground, he was asking, why isn't it burning everything up?
Because it's not a big fireball. It's not a big fireball. The sun is a luminary. It's a light. Actually, that reminds me, we should show people that how these lights work. So
whether he lives there or not, Frank, it's not a first-hand observation. It's absolutely fairy tale land. We just showed you guys. Oh, now we're into this. This is an excellent demonstration from Unreal Engine. Good job, bro. Bring this up.
Yeah, so this is Unreal Engine showing how luminary works in a video game system, a virtual reality. So this is the type of stuff that Metaverse is working on. You got Unreal Engine
And this also
that
tied to height fog, which another question from the last talk. Currently, if you have just a regular height fog, what you want to do is turn off all the directional and ambient scattering options, and the sky will start to drive the scattering values, and it'll just match the horizon of the atmosphere sky automatically. You can use it with volumetric fog, but the volumetric system is not
So
your luminations and the sky to use these colors in kind of a fake lighting effect based off just shifting the texture around based on the light vector. But you can get a pretty convincing and well-matched result without a lot of work. This was just a kind of a quick prototype to test that it's working. And then you're also not limited to using that node on simple, just texture-based.
yeah, he's getting into it now.
So unlike the last one, which was just a regular.
We jump ahead a little bit.
So I mentioned before a blueprint to recapture the sky. We have one of those in here, which is just a simple blueprint that has a reference to a skylight. And really,
Jason.
Yeah.
It's calling this recapture sky function.
Someone's
which allows
asking,
us to do things like
pause it for a second.
we can maximize.
So if the sun isn't a burning ball of gas, right? Jason's stating that it's a light, right? And the way that the parameters are set is that whatever that light touches, it heats up corresponding to what the creator had programmed, right? The creator didn't program it to burn the ground up as it rose, or it would do that, right? But what we have witnessed is that when the sun is closer, the earth heats up more. You can feel it on your skin. You can see it on the car. The pavement heats up so that you can barely walk on the earth when it's in its peak summer moments, right? There's everything, just like this modeling program that Jason's got on here. All the parameters are set. What we were just looking at was in the Unreal Engine, they have these different things. You can go back a bit, Jason, to the click where they show it.
Oh, no, it's actually forward.
The spot where he just had on the screen?
What?
The area there. Okay, what you're looking at here is parameters that have been set, and when you chain them together, you get differences inside of the renderer, right? So you set one of the lines that you see going through here is set for the sun's height. One of them is set for how bright the sun is. So all we're saying is that the creator made the sun, and then he made this type of a screen where he set what temperature the sun is and what the earth, how the earth reacts to the sun. That's it. It's not anything complicated at all.
Oh, so you'll be able to see in this demonstration real soon here.
The screen, go into G mode. And then another really cool feature that was added by Sebastian Hilaire, who worked on a lot of this sky atmosphere stuff, is you can now hold Control L in the editor.
Pay attention now.
All right, so now you should start to be able to see what this represents right now. It's got cardinal directions set to it, and then this blue line right here is the direction to the luminary, and you can just drag it around.
Gizmo there, where you can rotate the sun around. So how it works is that left and right movement is the horizontal rotation.
You see how easy it is to move
Are you
the...
gonna pause?
Yeah.
What I want to point out here is there's 2 videos, maybe 2 at the most, of someone who claimed to have a 24-hour sun, right? And what I'm claiming is that footage, it's fake, and it was created in an Unreal Engine just like this. And the reason why I know it's fake is because there isn't hundreds of people with the same footage. There's only one person, and it was Rob Skiba, who brought the circling 24-hour sun in. He was the only one. And D Marble went to Alaska and filmed the sun setting in the summer. So, I just want people to realize that this program here is how they fake stuff. You actually have to go out and witness it yourself too. When you see anything online, just like what we're showing you guys, go out and test it for yourself.
Yeah. So in this case here, the brightness of the sun, the glow of the sky, all this stuff is they've been able to do it. This is just 2022. I mean, how long have we had electricity, people? A little over 100 years. How long have we had computers? Not super long. And in a short amount of time, they're already able to make software that's able to do this. All right. With clouds up in the sky, you can have it casting shadows. You can have the brightness, the harshness of the light. This is what the scriptures say on day one was created, was day and night, before the sun, moon, and stars were created.
How high
All right,
it is in
so
the sky. So it makes it pretty easy.
So this is what the sun does.
Like bounce back and to the details panel or try to find the rotation.
And it's just rotating around the observer. Right, this path of the sun, it's not a ball of gas up in the sky moving across over this plane. The sun is just being rotated around the observer here.
How do I find the best lighting response for this scene, including going from complete sunrise, blackness to sunrise? You get that nice, really bright red line from the Rayleigh scattering. So jumping in real quick to, we have kind of an invisible material applied to the sky dome right now.
That right there is what we witness, everybody. And then the map. All right, so if we go to something like the Andrew Marsh site, let me make this big enough that people can see the map that they have in here. The map you can see here. There, it repeats, right? So they're not using a stereographic map. This is splayed out like a Mercator, and what it has is the north stretch to infinity, and the south stretch to infinity. What we're explaining to everybody is all you have to do is take a stereographic map like this, right? And place it right here, and it's just like this, except what's going to happen now is that Greenland's not going to be super inflated and Antarctica is not going to be super inflated because the stereographic map deals with that.
I'll read it again while you're showing that. It says, the map projection that we're sharing has been carefully chosen so that the inevitable distortions that occur is regulated to the oceans and the least populated land masses. The result is a unique, visually interesting flat map of the world that exhibits nearly no distortion, even in the familiar places, even at the poles. Right? We're trying to explain to you guys, this isn't what you're going to get from the mainstream science. They're going to give you nonsense. They're going to give you stretched out to infinity, north and south. The equator is a straight line on this map, right? This, if the Earth was like this, square, it would be very easy to understand your reality. There wouldn't be a debate right now. People wouldn't be able to say, well, I don't believe it's like that. We would all know, right? This is not, and you can line it up. What the most important part of Jason's demonstration tonight is showing you where on the right side, the actual circle of sight. That's where the sun angles can be measured and verified, right? How it rose up out of the ground and how it rises up out of the ocean. It's literally on the right side that Jason's showing right now. This is, we could measure all this, the lemma, everything, the shadows, the rise and sets, the times, the speeds of the sun, the distance and the length of the day. All these things are verifiable, testable, and repeatable. That's why we went against the top Globe Earth shills, Reds Rhetoric and Sean Hufford, and we smashed them. We destroyed them. They look like clowns. And anyone else that decides to come to a debate, look at the model that Jason's showing right now, you guys. It's on a flat plane. There's no curvature. You cannot measure these things on a curved surface. The angles are ridiculous. You can only measure it once you have a flat plane, and then you have your up, down, left, and right. Like
azimuth and altitude. Azimuth and altitude. That's it.
We are past 10. Mm-hmm. I really hope that when anybody asks what model, could you bring our map up again? Let's finish it off showing our map and model again. I really hope that this video, I know I was aggressive, but this is very important to me, you guys. This is the most important truth. To have a rooted foundation, you should know what your worldview is. The Kabbalists and shills have lied to you guys since birth, and we are fighting against people that are promoting fake flat earths, right, that are easily debunked, that we debunked 6 years ago. We've got Kabbalists telling you that you're twirling through the endless universe on a curved surface when we know that water literally levels out. Right here on the map, I'm going to go over this again. The equator is where Jason has the circle of sights. They're all aligned east, north, and south, and west. They're all perfectly positioned along the latitudes and longitudes. We've got the two tropics of Capricorn and Cancer, and the equator. They're all the same length in our reality because the sun's measurements tell us the lengths of the day and the night. We've got the 24 lines of longitude, right? Those are the lines coming from the north circle all the way down into the half We have 2 half pole points in the bottom. We've split East and West Antarctica up the way that we actually get taught it. There's Eastern and Western, right? And we've got the lines of latitude, which you can remember, they're like a ladder, right? All of these different things are purposely put here on the map. It's not complicated, right? You can circumnavigate around Antarctica, right? You can go around it. You wrap from one side of the map to the other. The Father hath placed boundaries. It's a 24-hour day, right? So you can measure these lines of longitude again. There's 24 of them. And you imagine that there's 1,000 miles in between each of the lines. That's how this map is splayed out. It's very simple to understand, you guys. You can circle around anywhere you want. You can circumnavigate it. And the Father hath encompassed the bounds with water, not with an ice wall. People that are telling you that the Earth is a AE map model with a dome and that it's ice walls. No, it's water. And there's an actual larger body of water than Enoch saw, but we don't need to complicate things. This is the map. You wrap from one side to the other corresponding in any of your longitude and latitudes. So too do all the stars and the luminaries. There's no need for portals. There's no need for any of that nonsense. They actually created this in a software program in 1972 in the video game called Asteroids. You wrap around the asteroids projection the exact same way. And we continue to tell people, if you can create something and it can match reality, there's a good chance that it is. Now, I'm sorry that you guys have been lied to and that you believe that you live on a spinning sphere your whole life without any evidence of curvature and the fact that water alone levels out at rest. Google will tell you that. If you type in water level, Google will tell you that water absolutely levels out perfectly flat and level at rest. So the map right here, you have the lines of latitude and longitude, the prime meridian down the center of the green line, right? The time and date line is the edge, the left side of the map. Jason's on the right side. That's where the day ends, and that's where the day begins. That's the only thing that changes when you cross that boundary. You're in another day. That's it. Mm-hmm. And it takes the sun 24 hours to get from one side to the other. And that's the way that this works. They're all equal lines. Now, I don't think I'm done.
Yeah, so just a real quick final example. We're just going to pick a location, let's say Sydney, Australia. So if you're looking at this map, Sydney, Australia, what's their day going to look like tomorrow? Let's take a quick look at that. We'll go to the Andrew Marsh. We'll click over here in Australia. Where's Sydney around here? Somewhere along this coast.
If John LeBon was here, he could tell us it's right there.
Yeah, it's somewhere along the coast right here.
Mm-hmm.
That might be it. So you click on the location, you pick your day. Let's go to, it's the 8th there now, right?
Correct.
So here's January 8th.
Sorry, thank you, Seth. It's 1979, not 72. That was the last year we went to the moon, was 1972. Supposedly went to the moon, but they destroyed that technology, and it's a pain to build it back, right?
So we've got our orientation. We've got north to the top right here. Now let's just take our day to the morning. So the sun comes up. We know it's coming up at 117.61 degrees. We know that the day is going to be 14 hours and 18 minutes. So the path of the sun around the observer, Sydney tomorrow, if you take a look at this from the side, you can see that the sun is going to come up from south of east. It's going to be north of the observer, where at solar noon, you're going to be casting a little bit of a shadow to the south, but it's going to be very much right up over a person's head right there. Right, it's not going to be casting much of a shadow. Its altitude is almost 80 degrees. All right, so then after that, it's going to come down and it's going to hook around the observer and it's going to go out to the south. This is a very similar path to what we were looking at in Cape Town. We can do this for any location, but this is how the model works, everybody. Pick a location, go to it, and then use one of these types of softwares that are all built off of a flat plane to get your azimuth and your altitude. that'll tell you the path of the sun around you. It'll give you your length of day. That's all you need to know. And you can see that it's coming from horizon to horizon around the observer. With this software, you can adjust the diagram size. So if you have a short circle of sight, it's going to look like this. And if you're up tall and you got a larger circle of sight, it's going to look like that.
Yeah, the only thing that changes your vanishing point distance. This one's for you, Skyfree, because I know you're interested in the whole vanishing point thing. At least I hope you are. The altitude of the observer sets the size of the circle of sight. And the reason I know they never went to the moon is because the closer you go to the moon, the further it moves away from you. Just like the saying, you'll never get to the end of a rainbow to get the pot of gold. The same applies for the sun, the moon, and the stars. They move away from you equidistantly. The higher you go, the larger circle of sight you have on the flat plane. This was all outlined in my video called Flat Earth Perspective, and Jason redid it, and put it in the Mall Angel video. For anybody that still has questions that might think that anything else is taking place, no, the distance we can see over the flat plane, right, is due to our altitude. The higher you go, the further out you can see. And what happens is you get up 30,000 feet and everything just fuzzes out. It becomes despotized. It becomes gray and fuzzy. Right? Distant objects become fuzzed out. We can't see them. We can only see so far, right? And our circle of sight, if you lie your head down on the ground, you're going to have the smallest circle of sight. If you dig a hole at the beach and put the camera below the ocean level, you'll have a really small circle of sight. You're only going to see the edge of the hole you dug. If you raise your camera way up into the sky, depending on your altitude, is the size of the circle of sight that you're going to see. It's very basic. And this is exactly why things are obscured at the distance. When we see a ship sailing away from us, it's not due to refraction. We do get jello-y things that happen, but those jello-y things don't obscure the boat. The boat is being obscured because it's crossing your vanishing point. Your vanishing point for someone that's 6 feet tall, standing at the sea, is 3 miles. So at 3 miles, the tallest part of the boat, you're going to see the longest because it has the largest circle of sight. I just explained the higher up something is, the larger it can be seen from and the larger area it can be seen, right? So as the ship sails away, you'll see less and less of it as it crosses the vanishing point. And this is the exact reason why Robotham was defeated in a debate, because they went further away from a lighthouse and you could see less and less of the White House. So I guess the Earth is a sphere. Well, no. Absolutely not, because the water that you're measuring in between the lighthouse and the distance is flat. It's level. Water is level when at rest. The distance is the tallest part of the lighthouse will be seen from the furthest vantage point on the flat plane, right? If you rise up higher than the lighthouse, you'll see the entirety of it again. And this is something that we're going to continue to go over and over again. It's not a belief. I'm not pretending to believe this. This is absolutely observable on a flat plane. Things leaving you disappear from the bottom up because you can see the top of a car further because it's a higher vantage point. I really hope this is very big. Jason, is this basic?
It's basic.
Like an advanced 10-year-old Skyfree should be able to understand this. I could take them to the CN Tower is one of the best ways to observe this. You could take a boat and sail away from the CN Tower. It's in my Flat Earth Perspective video on my channel. You click on the magnifying glass, Skyfree, and type in Flat Earth Perspective, and you're going to get a great representation of what I'm explaining here, right? The CN Tower, you'll see the top of the CN Tower. It has the largest circle of sight, so it therefore can be seen from the flat plane for the longest distance, right? As you drive closer to the CN Tower, you'll then see the top, then you'll see the observation deck. And as you get closer until finally when you're in the complete zone of that circle of sight, you'll see the entirety of the CN Tower, right? And as you travel away from the CN Tower, you will see less and less of it from the bottom up. And this has nothing to do with refraction, right? If you're saying that, you're lying. Right. And I don't want to be a liar, and I don't want anyone else to be a liar, especially if they're connected to me. So I'm going to tell you the truth, and you can take it and go, or you can do whatever it is that you want. And that goes for anyone else. I'm using Skyfree as an example. If you guys want to refute anything that we said tonight, you make a video, publish it to YouTube, and email it to me or Jason at awakesouls@gmail.com. And I'm AwakeEeple, AWAKEEPLE. And if you could disprove anything that we've said for the entire podcast, we will come out right away and make the correction and stand corrected with you. But I got to tell you guys, the reason why that hasn't been done yet, and I've been on here for 8 years, is because we don't come out here with anything else other than repeatable, observable proofs. None of them. Nothing I've said tonight can be used against me in a court of law with evidence proving that I lied. Nothing. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be some Mr. Perfect. No, the truth is what is the truth. We can't believe something that we want. We can't follow our own vain imaginations. The Father hath created this place, but we have these tools that we're then able to share with you guys on the other side of the screen. And yes, I get worked up because we've been saying this stuff for so many years, yet nobody, like I said, if we're light years away from people, what am I supposed to do? How do I make this any simpler? Like, if you guys want to give us ideas in the comment section below, tell us maybe, oh, Ronnie was too aggressive. Maybe if he tries a nicer approach, maybe we'll do this again and I'll do it in a nicer way. What I need for people to do is to go out and test these things for themselves. Buy a P1000 and a decent tripod, because the P1000 is very lens heavy, right? You need to have it firmly positioned when you film things. Go to the ocean. Go to higher observations. If you live in Toronto, go to the CN Tower. You go up the CN Tower and you can take Google Earth and you can take a picture from the CN Tower and you can measure things on Google Earth and you can verify, okay, it's 50 miles from the observation deck at the CN Tower to where my vanishing point is. You can actually go and test these things. Jason and I did it. We took the camera up the CN Tower. We did this. Okay. And you guys can do it too. We can all witness to the same truth as long as no one's out here trying to lie. No one's trying to follow their own vain imaginations. You actually have to witness what is. And ultimately, at the end of the day, brother, I'm going to go to sleep tonight, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful that the Father put the breath in my lungs, and that he gave me the drive and the ability to research. In the scriptures, it says it's an honor of a king to search out this place. The honors of kings, and that's pluralized because you two on the other side of the screen can get that same crown put upon your head. But if you don't do the work, if you're not investigating, you're not going to get these rewards, right? I want to share everything with everyone. I want even the most satanic person to turn from their ways and join me in the kingdom. The invitation the Father sent to everyone, everyone's invited, right? But you actually, if you get in without doing it his way, he's going to ask who let you in. And then, I don't want to have to be the person that has to escort you out. I want you with me, right? And at the end of the day, you guys, we're going to do this regardless if there's one person that shows up and if anybody even cares, whether it's true or not. Jason and I are still going to be here banging them out and having a good time. And again, I apologize to anybody that was turned off by me being a little bit aggressive. I'm going to try to work on that. I was fired up tonight, and I'm going to be fired up again tomorrow, and I'm going to be fired up again the next day, because you know what? Researching the truth with you guys on the other side of the screen is the most important thing to me. I get more enjoyment out of this than having the white picket fence and the cottage and the ski resort. I don't want any of that stuff. I want to share truth with people, and I want you guys to get involved too. You got to do the observations. I'll end this rant here, and I'm just thankful tonight. Jason, you did an excellent job. You stayed calm. I'm sure it was hard when I was ranting and carrying on. You always bring a great amount of levity, and you're thorough. And if anybody has any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Jason will be there like that, and he will address you. And if you don't see your comment show up, there's a good chance that it got held for review and it wasn't a good comment. So please, you guys, make good comments, right? Get involved. Share. If you learned something tonight, put it in the comment section below. Show us. Show the rest of the world that you too want to reward. You want to stand upon truth. Because other than that, I don't know what else to say.
So we had a chance to sit here and watch the days tick by. Here we have it sped up, and you can see that once it gets down to its lowest point, this red line clicks another slot over, So each day that goes by, all of a sudden, boom, click. Now the red line's on this side of the data hash. It's going to come around, it'll get to the bottom, and then it'll click, boom, right there, next day. So you can run this out till you get to the equinox, right? And then it's going to rise 90 degrees east. It's going to set 270 degrees west. Let's get this up during the daytime. Oops, that was the date, not the March 21st. All right, so all of this is measurable, verifiable stuff, everybody. We can look at the angle of shadows anywhere. We showed everybody how You can pick a location somewhere, and you can tell that the sun does go south. The sun rises south. Like at the beginning of this day, the Freemason New World Order AE map model, it cannot handle the fact that the north side of this clock isn't in the direct sunlight. It can't do it. The only thing that can is this. This is the only thing that can do it. So we keep on showing people the facts, and it proves that we're in a simulation, and it's not a theory. It's witnessable. It's documented. It's verifiable. And we'll keep doing it, like Ronnie said. So hopefully this gives people a better understanding of how this model works. It's your circle of sight, the path of the luminaries around you, right? Once you've studied that and you understand it, you'll know that we're in a simulation, right? That doesn't mean that you are simulated. It doesn't mean that you're not real. It's a virtual reality, like a metaverse, except way better. All right, so we'll see you all soon. Anything else, brother?
Your joke there was pretty funny. It's not a satanic metaverse. This is the reality that Yahawahashai hath created. He gets all glory. He put the breath in my lungs and the breath in Jason's chest. And everything that we do is just to glorify what he created. And again, if anyone's just showing up now, please rewind. Watch the podcast again. Take your time. And again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. We should be back Sunday, right?
I think so.
Great job, brother. All glory to the Father.
All right. Well, let's